Another MJF meet and greet, another story of controversy. Just as sure as the sun rises in the morning, you can be just as sure that controversy will rise for each and every single MJF fan meet and greet, and such was the case yet again this weekend. With many individuals walking away from this fan meetup with MJF, wanting Tony Khan, AEW, to punish the All Elite Wrestling star, to levy some type of sanctions, even cries for suspension. Because MJF he was mean. He was rude. He was an asshole. He was a prick. He was a jerk. He was unprofessional. He was a heel. All the things he should be. A lot of these fans, they show up and they expect these wrestlers to completely piss on kayfabe. Completely piss on the character that each and every one of these fans view every single Wednesday night or Tuesday night, Monday, Friday night. The weekends on those pay-per-views. Piss on all of it. These fans expect to meet the person behind the character that's never advertised. But yet this past weekend, another controversial interaction. And the only difference from this one, because they're all pretty damn awesome to talk about. You always look at MJF and go, damn, this dude's living that character. But this one is even better. We'll explain. We'll talk about why a lot of individuals are heated, they're frustrated, they're angry, they want Tony Khan to do something about MJF. We'll talk about it. I'll show you guys what happened. I don't know if I can show the actual vid, but I'll show you in stills anyway, in pics, and we'll talk about it. And BC, it shouldn't be a hot take. This should not be a hot. This should be common sense. And you ain't gonna have to wait long. We're gonna talk about it in like 2 minutes. But first and foremost, I got to give a shout out from channel members to channel subscribers, everybody that supports this channel. If I had a coffee right now, I'd say salute. For now, you're going to have to do with just an old school 1980s peace. Salute. Salute. There you go. I ain't got no coffee, guys. After this recording, we got to hit the road for some traveling. Then I will double fist. I will have one hand holding a double shot Dunkin'. The other hand will have a Starbucks 2-pump hazelnut double shot latte. All right, but until then, we're going no coffee. But there was no way you guys were not going to get an amped up show for Wednesday, the 13th of November, 2024. So coffee or no coffee, you guys are getting amplification. And I want to thank every single one of you guys, man, especially in yesterday's Monday Night Raw review. I know it went up really late. I'm always the last in the community to give you guys a lot of these reviews. And you guys say, I don't care. I'll wait for the best. The old saying, right? You save the best for last. And you guys rocked out that Raw review. It's so awesome to see everybody coming together and going, this ain't it, Hunter. This ain't it, dude. And the more of us speak out like that, truthfully, honestly, and in an amplified measure, trust me, that's how real change is created, and hopefully we can get a better product going forward. Appreciate you guys big time. 2 quick things before we get into this MJF story. CM Punk return date has been announced. Madison Square Garden, day after Christmas, the 26th of December, CM Punk is advertised. So he is returning, not a televised advertisement. This is a live event. Big New York City show. They usually do New York and Chicago right after Christmas. So CM Punk is returning. This leaves a lot of individuals to think, hey, CM Punk could show up a few weeks earlier. Survivor Series War Games. I wouldn't bet on it, though. Raw this past week was taped. So next week's Raw is taped, I should say, after this week's live show. So we already have the results. I'm not going to give you those spoilers now, but it does look like Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed will be the 5th members for their respective teams. Bronson over for Team Solo and Seth for Team OG. The only other way I see them going, if they do, is Kevin Owens Team Solo and Cody Rhodes Team OG. But Punk is an option, but we do have his return date, CM Punk, December 26th, NYC. As of this recording, we don't have an opponent for him or if he's even going to be wrestling, but he's definitely returning. How about The Rock? The Rock, more cast and crew is calling out Dwayne The Rock Johnson for tardiness and odd behavior. So The Rock is having to answer to a lot of these people calling him out. Is that really new? Odd behavior? I don't think normal has ever been attached to Dwayne Johnson, and that's a good thing. That's what made Dwayne Johnson The Rock and separate himself from everybody else. So it's okay not to be normal. But the tardiness thing, how is that news? How are you really calling him out for that? The definition tardiness, you'd probably see a picture of The Rock Dwayne Johnson. That's like saying in other news, the sky is blue, grass is green, it's cold in Alaska and it's warm in Florida. You don't say. Of course The Rock is tardy. This past WrestleMania, BC was actually there too, so I can tell you firsthand. There was hundreds, maybe thousands of us waiting for The Rock to show up. It was like a 5 p.m. showing at WWE World the weekend of WrestleMania. And this dude wasn't just like 5-10 minutes late, maybe some traffic, maybe a little bit of storyline. He's in character, right? He's going to make you wait a half an hour. That's still kind of douchey to wait a half an hour, but maybe, right? No, guys, hour and a half, 2 hours plus it took The Rock to show up casually. Stayed for about 10 to 15 minutes tops and just took off. But like 2 hours late, I have never seen anything like it. Fans were pissed. People had to walk away. People were yelling to the stage. BC was one of them. We got things to do. But more importantly, it was holding the entire event hostage, guys. Because if you've never been to a WWE World, it's a convention basically. And you have all these booths and you have all these people selling items and you have all these experiences and exhibits. And there's a lot of manpower, a lot of employees, a lot goes into it. But nobody was going to miss The Rock. So everybody was at the main stage. The rest of the convention was a ghost town. And that's where the problem is. You're screwing everybody over. The rest of the convention was on hold for 2 hours. Problem is it wasn't, though. The employees still were there. The exhibits were still trying to attract people. And The Rock just held everybody there for 2 hours. Bumped everything on the main stage back 2 hours, by the way. I think one thing actually got booted. It was bad, guys. It was really, really bad. And I think I can speak on it more because I was actually there. But that's what happens with tardiness. And if you guys have never been on a set for movies or TV or anything like that, I'm telling you right now, every minute is major money. And you can't do that, man. You can't do that to your fellow co-stars. But more importantly, all the employees, the crew, you can't do that. Because they were there hours before you even, setting everything up and making sure everything's ready. There's no reason that they have to go home to their families hours afterwards because The Rock couldn't pull himself together. That goes for anybody in Hollywood. But I can tell you firsthand, it was, The Rock's tardiness problem is bad. It's bad. So the fact that this is still an issue, the fact that more cast and more crew, I guess this is from the recent movie, cast and crew is calling him out. So this is his very latest movie, Red One or something like that. It's like a Christmas movie, I believe. But listen, that's his MO. So at this point, if you're casting The Rock, you're going to get one of the most talented dudes in the world. That's just what The Rock is. The dude is he pisses talent. First thing in the morning, he's pissing talent. That's what he is. He's so damn good at everything he does. But you're going to get some of the downside as well. He's most likely not going to show up on time, but you're just hoping he shows up relatively 10, 15, 25, half an hour. You just don't know with The Rock, man. But The Rock in tardiness, as if that's news. But it is, so BC's going to talk about it with you guys on today's Amped Up. Now, guys, let's get into it, man. One more story, please. And then we'll get to MJF. MVP. 3 other letters. MVP. Once again, telling you he does not like Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Triple H. Paul Levesque McMahon. There's only so many ways he can tell you that. Now he's basically just flat out saying it, right? Why he walked away from WWE. Why he did not re-sign. This is a quote from MVP. MVP says, and I quote, "I didn't want to re-sign, and I let it be known that I wasn't going to re-sign because of the new management in place. So I just felt like it was definitely time to go because the new management just wasn't for me and I ain't for him." End quote. I love at first in this paragraph, he's talking about management, right? Maybe it's not just Hunter. Maybe it's Ari. Maybe it's the entire team assembled, right? Because of management, I chose not to resign. I knew it was time to go. He said, "I knew the new management just wasn't for me." But then he ends it saying, "and I ain't for him." So it no longer was management at the end of this paragraph. He specifically said him. You know, obviously, he's talking Hunter Hearst Helmsley. He's not talking about Ari Emanuel from Endeavor. He's not talking about Shapiro, the president. He's talking about Hunter Hearst Helmsley. And that's obvious. If you guys know, you know. I mean, this is not the first time he has opened up candidly on how he feels about Hunter, how he feels he dropped the ball with a lot of black wrestlers, more specifically Hurt Business, and not even giving them a chance at a resurrection once Vince took off. Hunter just wanted nothing, and Hunter made it clear. Hunter was like, just wait out your contracts, and then you can go about your business. Lashley said he tried to work with Hunter. It just wasn't happening. And MVP believes he knows why, but he's actually holding a lot back. I'm pretty sure, based on everything that MVP has said, there's a lot more he wants to say. He's being very, very restrained right now in his words. He's trying to be, I don't know about respectful, but yes, that too. He's just trying not to ruffle too many feathers to an amplified degree. But, I mean, he has made it pretty damn obvious. He just does not like Hunter Hearst Helmsley. And I don't even feel that he respects the dude. And I can't blame him, to be honest with you. So I thought that was an interesting piece to discuss in today's upload. Just MVP keeps on just making sure you understand how much he did not want to be there under Hunter, with all the stories that you hear that he's cooking and that Hunter, people love to work for him, and all of his speeches, his Papa H speeches, right? He's like, Dad. There's a lot of individuals that don't believe that. Okay, now we can go to 3 different letters. MJF. This is what you guys came here for. This is the main story. So, as I said in the open, MJF is known for his meet and greets, and not in the best of ways, right? I mean, it's great for fans that absolutely love him being in character and love all the antics and the birds that he's flipping, what he's telling these dudes, the swears being sent to these fans' ears, to these families. And here MJF is flipping them off and dropping F-bombs, and these families are like, I thought we were just meeting a wrestler. Oh, you are. Not no ordinary wrestler. This is Maxwell Jacob Freeman. So, we all love that. But there's always these stories because there's a lot of people going to get that autograph and that picture that don't understand. You're getting MJF, like the character on TV. That's who you're going to see. That's whose name you're getting on that piece of paper. That's who you're going to stand next to when he takes a picture and flips you off. That's who you're getting. If you're going to get an autograph from Kane, very rarely, or at least it'll be in the promotional, if differently. But usually you're going to get an autograph from Kane. You're not going to stand next to Glenn Jacobs, get Glenn Jacobs' name, right? Probably going to say Kane. I know that I never, obviously to this day because I'm older, but even when I was a kid, I never was big into autographs. I didn't really care to meet the wrestlers. They're just human beings to me. So I never got starstruck by many. But I remember getting like Diesel and Razor Ramon's autograph, waiting for and you didn't see Scott Hall, right? He was Razor Ramon, is what it says on the piece of paper. Kevin Nash said Diesel, because he was Diesel back then. You're not getting Kevin Nash. I didn't get Michael Hicknam-Botnam. I got Shawn Michaels. You're getting the character. Now you can tweak it and dumb it down a little bit so you're not over the top rude or anything like that. But normally back in the day, Vincent Kennedy wouldn't send the heels out. Not a lot of heels did autographs back in the day. Like Shawn Michaels, I think, was a heel possibly, but he played off all of what made him a heel. He was arrogant. He was conceited. He was awesome, though. He was super nice. But, I mean, he was playing it off like he was chewing the gum and he had the whole get-up. He was Shawn Michaels, and you believed it. But not a lot of heels. You wouldn't see Psycho Sid Vicious as a heel doing autographs. There wasn't too many King Kong Bundy autograph sessions. You just wouldn't see it. That was more for the faces. In today's pro wrestling, you send the heels out more. But MJF is going to stay in character, and that is a lost art. We need more individuals to stay in character. You ain't got to necessarily live it. Like back in the day, Ric Flair would not even travel in the same vicinity as anybody that he was in a story with. I mean, they would be in different towns, obviously different hotels, but I'm talking different towns. They would ride in different vehicles. They would make sure they were separated, so nobody could even mistake that they were together. I'm not saying you got to take it to that level, but you ain't got to have a match on live TV and then an hour later post a pic from Applebee's of the same two people that were in the ring having sharing laughs over wine and a steak dinner. You ain't got to see that type of stuff because it absolutely pisses on kayfabe and any illusion that you had that, hey, maybe there's a chance they actually don't like each other. Like they're being professional and they're working, but maybe they don't, right? Like I remember Kingston and Claudio. I always bring this up. Kingston talks so poorly about Claudio. You believe they don't like one another. Like there's something about Eddie Kingston or Claudio that Kingston does not like, and Claudio feels the same way. But then you guys remember, the referee, one of the AEW referees, shared a picture on his social of Claudio and Kingston, and he was in the middle, and they're all at dinner laughing together over a steak. And I'm like, well, what the every time Kingston hauls off verbally on Claudio now, I'm just going to remember that picture. I remember Braun Strowman and Roman were in a big feud. Braun had just put Roman in a stretcher and then shoved away the ambulance crew and shoved Roman while he's in the stretcher off of the loading dock in the parking lot. I mean, that's how big this story and feud was. Then they go on a European tour the next week, and they're all sightseeing together. There's pictures of him and Braun, like, they got their fanny packs, their pictures. You know what I mean? It's just, listen, I mean, if you're grown up like most of us, yeah, all right, you ain't gonna lose sleep over it. But it absolutely damages how much you can believe in the product, right? You want to suspend disbelief. I call it suspending belief. And you want to enter the wacky world of pro wrestling, but they have to meet us halfway. You don't got to rub it in our face that it's not a real feud, that it's choreographed and staged and rehearsed and planned. You ain't got to rub it in our face, right? So MJF, my whole point is MJF is a rarity, and he's a needed aspect in today's pro wrestling. You need to live the character more. Not 24/7, that's fine, but for the public, for meet and greets, anything to do with fans, social media, absolutely. There was only a few that has done that over the last several years. Bray Wyatt, MJF, and maybe a few others. So you go to these meet and greets and MJF pisses off a lot of people. But people used to get pissed off just for him flipping them off or dropping an F-bomb or saying the fuck off. Right? Then people said, okay, all right, that's just MJF. I'm still going to go though. And then he does something like this past weekend, which set off a lot of people. So what's the story? What happened this weekend? Well, there was this meet and greet. I don't know what promotion it was. I don't know what why he was there, but MJF has his little table, his little booth. There's a fan that goes up. He has a WWE title. And it looks like I think it was like the Raw branded, the red leather. It's a replica. Don't worry, guys. Hunter didn't give the fan the real title, but it's a replica championship. And for some reason, the fan wants MJF to hold it. Maybe it was something funny. Like, hey, can you flip off the belt or something? It'll be funny. I don't know. But MJF takes it. Maybe I can show you guys some stills in this post-edit for this upload. But he holds it out like it's trash, So MJF is holding the title out in the picture. I think it's a badass pick. And mind you, I want you guys to keep this in mind. This fan, I believe, if you zoom in a little, if I can show the pic, from what I remember, I don't have it right in front of me now, but hopefully I can put it up in post-edit. This fan is flipping off MJF, I believe. I don't think he's giving him a thumbs up. I don't think it's the Triple H, Paul Levesque McMahon, Hunter Hearst Helmsley point. I think he is flipping MJF off. So clearly this dude knows the shtick. He knows what he's getting. And he's flipping MJF off. So after the picture's taken, MJF just throws the title. It looks like he just went to throw it on the table, to be honest with you, because it bounces off of it and it hits the ground. MJF doesn't care. Makes it more good, right? That was an even better spot now that it fell to the actual concrete. So the belt flies off the table and hits the concrete. The kid has to go and pick up the title, and a lot of people were outraged. Oh my goodness, is that how you treat fans? I don't think the fan cared. I think the fan loved it. That's why he probably brought a WWE title. It's probably why he was flipping off MJF in the picture. And you think this fan cares that MJF chucked the championship to the ground? That's probably what he wanted. He didn't want to show up to get Maxwell's or whoever's autograph, whoever else was there. He wanted MJF, the dude where he can flip off in a photo. That's what he wanted. So everybody that's crying about it, I think I got to give you guys this quote from JBL. BC, why do I care what JBL said? I hear you, but this is actually sums it up beautifully. JBL says, and I quote, I have zero, this is as it pertains, because JBL heard about this and was asked, what do you have to say about all the people that are outraged about what MJF recently did at the meet and greet? And this is what JBL said, and I quote, I have zero issue with it. Any snowflakes that want to bitch about it, grow up. Give me a fucking break. This is crazy to me. You guys want these guys to be heels, and then when they are heels, you bitch about it. You cry. They're supposed to be nice to me. No, they're not. Who are you? Cry me a river. End quote. JBL. I love that. You want them to be heels, but then when they do heel things, you cry about it. This is exactly what I would love if I was younger going to get an autograph. I don't see how when you're older really getting too many autographs, but if I was, that is still some people actually collect. It's not BC's cup of coffee, but yeah, if I'm going to take a pic with a pro wrestler, I want them to be in that character, man. Have some fun with it. Make sure that they're having fun with it. That's where you're taking it too far if you're actually offended that the heel MJF was being heel MJF because you wanted him to be the nice Maxwell and maybe pat the kids on the head and maybe take even an extra photo for free. Here's an extra 8x10. Here, take a free t-shirt. Ask your kid if he plays what sports they play and try to give him some free tips. That's not who you're getting. If you're getting offended over what MJF does at meet and greets, you have to learn where you're going, who you're going to see, because that's on you. There's absolutely some things in 2024 that there's no need for. It's not even about being offended or a snowflake. Things like Carlito. The other week, Carlito saying, I got to learn Chinese when EO walked out of the room. That's just not funny, right? Some people were like, oh man, everyone says they want the Attitude Era back, but they can't even handle a joke. Where's the joke? Jokes are funny. That wouldn't be funny in 1995. It wouldn't be funny in 2025, and it still won't be funny in 2065. I gotta learn Chinese. Oh, yeah, because EO's Japanese and he doesn't understand it. He said Chinese. That's funny. It's not funny. There's no need for that in 2024 because that's just sheer ignorance for the sake of being ignorant. That's not even playing Carlito's like stupid character, and I love Carlito, by the way. But whether it was an R-Truth who's been playing the dumb guy for 20 years or Carlito, wouldn't matter. That is stupid. It's not even about being offended by it. There's just no need for that comment on primetime television. It's just that bad. But showing up to an MJF meet and greet and having the title thrown to the ground while you are flipping off. And again, I'm not saying the fan who had the title thrown to the ground, he's even offended. He's probably loving it. He probably loved it. But people that were there raised a big stink about it. And then it reached the social doohickey, and before you know it, people are asking Tony Khan to punish MJF. No, how about you give him more of a raise? How about you say thank you? If I'm Tony Khan, I say thank you for upholding the prestige of this company and pro wrestling as not just the product that we are trying to present, but pro wrestling in its totality. The industry, putting it up on a pedestal and protecting it. That's what I'm saying thank you for. Thank you for protecting what we all bust our ass for. So no, if you're wondering, if you haven't been able to tell already, I am not going, whoa, man, MJF took it too far. No, he didn't. That was epic. That's MJF. I've always said MJF is better as a heel. Recently, when he was kind of face-ish, I always said ish because he never was a face to me. It just didn't connect. That was just not MJF, dude. As a heel, there's not much, if any, that are better than that dude because he lives that. And he's just that good. And he's going to flip you off. He's going to tell you to fuck off if you came here to pay to see him. He's going to throw your title on the ground. And if done correctly, you're going to love it. I say if done correctly, MJF did his part. Fans got to do their part. If you're offended over every little thing, leave it at the doorstep before you take off. You're going to see a professional wrestling heel, one of the best to ever do it. Act like it. BC for the Amped Up Show, Wednesday, November 13, 2024. Until next time, and there will be that next time. Top guys, we're out. BC in the unit saying check you. I got to get cool.